God saw me when I was left behind. Story of rejection, healing, and unfailing grace. I was only 11 years old then, the second born of four children. My younger siblings came 2 years apart, while my elder sister was 5 years ahead of me. At that time, my mother was undergoing serious medical treatment. Her body was weak and she could hardly care for us. My father hired a home assistant named Jane, a warm, kind woman who loved us as if we were her own. She worked faithfully every day, from morning until evening. My father worked at the international airport. He was a man of few words, but when he spoke, he meant every word. He provided well for the family. Yet even as a child, I felt different. In my young heart, I sensed that he did not care for me the way he did for the others. There was a coldness in his voice whenever he spoke to me, something I could feel, even if I could not explain it. One evening, when he came home slightly tipsy, that quiet fear became real. We were all gathered around the kitchen fire, sharing about our day. My mother sat nearby, weak but smiling. When my father walked in, we ran to greet him. With joy in his voice, he announced that our entire family had been granted a visit to the airport. We were overjoyed. It felt like the best news ever. We began planning what we would wear and dreaming about the day ahead. But slowly, something changed. The conversation continued, yet I was no longer included. Open talk turned into whispers, and in my mother's eyes I saw sadness, like she was silently pleading for something on my behalf. Then one day the house was filled with unusual activity. Everyone seemed busy preparing. When I asked where they were going, no one answered me. I felt invisible. I felt unwanted. By evening, everyone was dressed and ready. Jane was tending to the younger children. Quietly, I tried to prepare myself too. But when my father saw me, he scolded me harshly. That was the moment I realized they intended to leave me behind. My heart shattered. I cried uncontrollably. I clung to my mother, but she turned away to hide her tears. My father started the car, calling everyone except me. Jane could not bear it. She pleaded with him to take me along. She even began bathing me outside the house, hoping he would change his mind. But he drove away. I still remember the depth of that pain, the feeling of rejection, the cries of an 11-year-old whose heart broke quietly in the evening light. Jane wrapped her arms around me. She whispered words of comfort. She told me stories until I finally fell asleep on her shoulder. Many years have passed since then. Today I live abroad with my loving husband. God has blessed us beyond what I could ever imagine. And every time I look at our parking lot and see our two cars, I whisper, "Thank you, Father." Because even then, when I felt invisible, God saw me. He saw that little girl crying outside the house. He saw the tears my mother tried to hide. He saw the heartbreak I carried silently for years. And to anyone who has ever felt rejected, unwanted, or overlooked, hear this: God sees you too. He has never turned his face away from your tears. He gathers every one of them. He understands the ache no one else notices. And in his perfect time, he will wipe every tear from your eyes. He heals what others broke. He restores what was lost. He turns pain into testimony. What was meant to crush you will not define you. God does. And he calls you loved. If you are listening today and feeling rejected, forgotten, or overwhelmed, remember this: your life is not an accident, and your pain is not unseen. God knows your name. He knows your story, and his grace is still reaching out to you, right where you are. Do not measure your worth by human approval, but by God's unchanging love. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this message has refreshed your soul, please like, share, and subscribe to Streams of Hope with Eli B. Until next time, may your hearts be strengthened, your faith renewed, and your hope restored. God bless you.